Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a monthly budget recap for June 2026 in my Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Here we are, my June monthly spread. As you can see, all of my bills have been checked off for the month of June. I don't feel terrible, but don't feel great about my June budget. I'll say that. We're definitely going to get into some details, and we're going to start out with the debt payment plan because I do feel good about the debt payment plan. So let's zoom on in so that we can look at the details. I only have one source of debt right now, and that is my Nelnet student loan. I currently have a balance of $10,344.06. I cannot wait to be under the $10,000 mark. My interest rate is just over 5%. My student loan is a federal student loan. It's currently on hold, but I have been paying $400 every single month at a minimum just to make sure that I'm getting down that balance as quick as possible. And when it comes to extra debt payments, I'm excited because I was able to make a few. So I made one for $300 at the beginning of the month, and then my employer, who's actively helping me pay off my student loans right now, did their usual $333.33 at the end of the month. So everything towards debt in the month of June added up to $1,033.33, which I think is great. I'm very, very excited about that. When we compare last month to this month, I had a debt balance of $11,662.88 last month. This month, we're at $10,344.06. That is a progress of $1,318.82 or 1.9%, which I think is great. The other side of this is overall debt progress. Now, this amount right here, this total debt I started with, that is from June 2022, which is when I bought my car. So I at one point definitely had more than that just in student loan debt alone, but it made sense to kind of like restart that total progress when I bought that vehicle because that was such a big expense. And so I started at June 2022 with $70,910.32 in debt. My progress this month, again, a little over 10,000. Overall debt progress, we have reached the $60,000 threshold. So I have paid off $60,566.26 since June 2022, which is an overall debt progress of 85.4%, and I'm really excited about that. Now, let's skip on forward and talk about my net worth tracker. I do keep my assets private, but of course you can see my liabilities here, which is my one source of debt, my Nelnet student loan. Even though I keep my specific assets private, my total is listed down here. I have $591,170.59 in assets. If we take that amount and we compare it to liabilities and we subtract our liabilities from that, we get our net worth. And for the month of June, my net worth is $601,500. Wait, that's not right. Oh my God, I added them together. I thought that was so high. I was like, this is wild how much of an increase I've had in 1 month, 32,000. So this is completely wrong. We're going to have to ignore this. I can't believe I'm just figuring this out as I'm filming this, but it's not 601. It wasn't a $32,000 increase. It's somewhere around 577 and change, which means it is still higher than the 569 from last month. So it is a positive in terms of my net worth, but it's not this positive. I will go back and fix that for myself. The last page that we're going to be looking at is my favorite page, which is the monthly budget category breakdown. We're going to start out along the top here looking at starting balances and inflow. So my starting balance, which is the money that I rolled over from May into June 2026, was $1,702.03. My earned income, which is my income from my full-time job, was $6,688.26. My other income mostly was my employer's payment towards my student loan, but also a couple of Amazon refunds for purchases I made, $396.06, and then savings used were two of my sinking funds for $274. All of that added together equals a total monthly inflow of $9,060.35. If we go down to my budgeted categories, as you can see, I didn't completely fill this out. The percentages I never really find to be very helpful, so I've kind of abandoned that. But in the last couple months that I've closed out my budget, I haven't even put the difference here. I do like it visually. It's just if I'm being lazy, I won't do it. I need to get back into the habit of doing it though, because I do like seeing the red and green, and it brings my eye to certain areas. But let's start out with food. Food, my budget is $600. I spent $684.95, so I was over budget, which is why I am thinking about potentially increasing my food budget in the month of August. In terms of gas, 100 is my budget. I spent 130, also over budget, but I will say I think that was a little bit of a fluke because I had to get gas the last day of June. So I don't think I'm going to be over budget in July. I'm hoping I'm not over budget in July, but we will see. Miscellaneous, 300. That's my miscellaneous cash spending. I only spent 17, so that was really exciting. My miscellaneous bills, I don't budget for these. It's money that I use for my paycheck that, before I end up putting whatever towards savings, better than it has been in the last few months, $2,477.82. Utilities is 400. I paid $338.90. Housing is my rent for 600. That was right on. Giving for my church, $20. That was correct. Debt, I always put down my normal monthly payment, 400. We went over that, obviously, a little over $1,000, which is great. Personal are things like Spotify, Kindle Unlimited, Netflix. I budgeted 75. I spent 85.29. I think it was because I purchased a book off Audible. And then savings, I always want to save relatively close to half of my paycheck. I did not reach that, unfortunately. I saved $2,888. Sinking funds. That is something where it's not necessarily expected in my budget, but I did spend out of two different sinking funds in the month of June, and so it equaled $272.30. Now, if I just list these things and do not list my July starting balance, my budget will not be balanced because I need to have all of my inflow match my outflow. And July starting balance is equated into my inflow. It's money that came in that I still have that I'm putting towards July. So my July starting balance is going to be $512.76. If I add everything together, it does equal $9,060.35, which is the same as our inflow up here, which means that our budget is completely balanced for the month of June. I am very excited about having a balanced budget, but again, overall, I'm not ecstatic about the way that June went. I wish I would have been able to put a little bit more towards savings. I wish I had less in my miscellaneous bills category. I wish I wasn't going over consistently in my food category, but everything is always a work in progress, and all I can do is try even harder next month. I hope that you all enjoyed this budget recap. If you have any questions about the way that I budget, the products that I use, please do not hesitate to put a comment down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.